History, a tapestry woven with threads of choices and chances, often leaves us pondering the what-ifs. What if the Roman Empire never fell? What if the printing press wasn't invented? These questions offer intriguing glimpses into alternate realities. They challenge established narratives and explore infinite possibilities. Imagine peering through a kaleidoscope, each turn revealing a different outcome. Our journey today takes us to the Indian subcontinent. We explore an alternate timeline where the British East India Company never gained a foothold. This is not to rewrite history, but to reimagine it. The year is 1757. The Battle of Plassey, a pivotal moment in Indian history, is about to be fought. But in this reality, the outcome is different. The East India Company's ambitions are thwarted. This twist of fate alters the course of events for centuries. This is an exploration of possibilities, a journey into a civilization that could have been. Join us as we delve into the rich tapestry of an uncolonized India. What would this India look like? How would it have interacted with the world? The answers, as we shall discover, are both fascinating and complex. Before European powers arrived, India was a beacon of knowledge, prosperity, and cultural brilliance. From the Himalayas to the Ganges, India was a melting pot of diverse languages, religions, and traditions. The Mughal Empire presided over a period of peace and prosperity. Its emperors left behind magnificent monuments and a flourishing literary scene. India's economic prowess was renowned worldwide. Skilled artisans produced exquisite textiles and world-renowned spices. The Mughal era saw sophisticated financial systems and flourishing trade networks. Indian merchants sailed across the seas, carrying the riches of their homeland. Education flourished with centers like Nalanda and Takshashila. Mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy reached great heights. The concept of zero and advancements in surgery were Indian gifts to the world. India was a land where tradition and innovation went hand in hand. The pre-colonial era offers a glimpse into a civilization at its peak. Imagine an India unburdened by colonialism, free to determine its own destiny. The absence of British rule presents us with a myriad of possibilities, each more tantalizing than the last. What if India's vast resources had not been siphoned off to fuel the British Empire? What if its industries had been allowed to flourish without being stifled by colonial policies? The economic landscape of this alternate timeline shimmers with untapped potential. Without the drain of colonial exploitation, India's wealth could have been invested in its own development. Imagine a scenario where the riches from trade flowed back into the subcontinent, fueling industrial growth, technological innovation, and social progress. Perhaps India, with its abundance of natural resources and skilled labor, could have emerged as an economic powerhouse, a driving force in the global marketplace. The social fabric of this uncolonized India also invites our speculation. Would the caste system, a rigid social hierarchy, have persisted in its existing form, or would it have evolved differently without the influence of British policies? Could India have forged a more egalitarian society, free from the divisions sown by colonial rule? The potential for social transformation is a captivating aspect of this alternate history. As we delve deeper into this imagined reality, we must also consider the political landscape of an uncolonized India. Would the Mughal Empire have continued its reign, or would a new power have risen to prominence? Could India have emerged as a unified nation-state much earlier, or would it have remained a patchwork of kingdoms and principalities? These questions, though difficult to answer definitively, challenge us to rethink the political trajectory of the subcontinent. In this counterfactual narrative, the Mughal Empire, spared the East India Company, stands at a crossroads. The year is 1757. The Mughal emperor faces a choice: cling to old ways or embrace reform. Would they modernize or succumb to internal strife and external pressures? The absence of British colonialism would have altered the Mughal Empire's trajectory. Would it lead to prosperity and innovation, or chaos and fragmentation? The Mughal Empire stood at a crossroads, its future uncertain. The rise of regional titans, a tapestry of power. The Mughal Empire's different trajectory could have transformed the Indian subcontinent into a vibrant tapestry of regional powers. The Vijayanagara Empire might have become a bulwark of Hindu power and a patron of art and culture. The Cholas could re-emerge as a dominant naval force, controlling trade routes in the Indian Ocean. The Maratha Confederacy might have consolidated its power, forging a formidable empire. Their guerrilla warfare tactics and nationalism could have made them a force to be reckoned with. The Sikhs might have carved out a significant kingdom, promoting spirituality and martial prowess. This patchwork of regional powers could have fostered competition and innovation. Each kingdom would have strived to create a prosperous realm, leading to advancements in governance, trade, and technology. The exchange of ideas and cultural practices could have enriched the subcontinent's traditions. However, the absence of a unifying force could have resulted in a fragmented India, vulnerable to external threats. Would these regional powers have united against common enemies? Or would their rivalries have left the subcontinent open to exploitation by outside forces? The interplay of power, ambition, and diplomacy in this multipolar landscape would have been fascinating. So friends, chalo, let's talk about Gyan Ki Azadi, knowledge unchained, you know. If English hadn't become the big boss language, imagine how different things would be. Sanskrit, our ancient language, could have become super popular again, like the common language of India. Think about it, all those old books on maths, stars, medicine, and big ideas, not just gathering dust, but being read and discussed by bright young minds. Without the British, our scientists and mathematicians could have made amazing discoveries inspired by our own traditions. GAP2S0, the decimal system, even advanced surgery. These were all gifts from ancient India. Imagine if we had kept building on them. Computers, engineering, medicine, who knows what we could have achieved. This doesn't mean saying no to Western science. Imagine an India that takes the best from the West but keeps its own special way of thinking, mixing Eastern and Western knowledge. That could have been a golden age for science, with India leading the way. And schools. Imagine our old gurukuls, those ancient learning centers, becoming modern and cool, with students from all over India and even abroad. These would be places where old wisdom meets new ideas, shaping young minds for the future. Threads of unity, weaving a national identity. The absence of British colonialism, while potentially leading to a more fragmented political landscape, also presents an intriguing question. How would a national identity have been forged without a common colonizer to define itself against? In the absence of a shared struggle for independence, what would have bound the diverse people of this vast subcontinent together? One possibility is that a shared cultural and spiritual heritage, embodied in the ancient texts and traditions of Hinduism, Islam, Sikhism, Buddhism, and other faiths, could have served as a unifying force. The concept of unity in diversity, deeply ingrained in Indian philosophy, might have found expression in a shared sense of belonging, transcending regional and linguistic differences. The pilgrimage routes crisscrossing the subcontinent, from the icy heights of the Himalayas to the southernmost tip of Kanyakumari, could have become symbols of this shared heritage, connecting people from different walks of life in a common pursuit of spirituality and self-discovery. Festivals like Diwali, Holi, Eid, and Gurpurab, celebrated with equal fervor across the subcontinent, could have served as reminders of this shared cultural tapestry. Moreover, the emergence of regional languages and literatures, no longer overshadowed by English, could have fostered a sense of pride and identity rooted in local cultures. Imagine a scenario where Bengali, Tamil, Marathi, and other regional languages flourish, producing literary giants who capture the imagination of the nation. This flowering of regional cultures, while celebrating diversity, could have also contributed to a sense of shared national pride. Section 5. East meets West global engagement on India's terms. India, free from colonialism, engages globally as an equal partner, leveraging its strengths in trade, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. Imagine Indian textiles adorning Europe, merchant ships forging trade links, and India advocating for peace and cooperation. Weaving economic independence. Picture this. The year is 1857. India hums with the industrious rhythm of self-sufficiency. The looms of Dhaka sing with activity. Fine muslin flows from India as a finished product. India's wealth remains within its borders. This financial liberation fuels public works projects. Roads and railways connect the subcontinent. Economic independence translates into a better quality of life. Increased prosperity brings education, healthcare, and social mobility. Opportunities arise for those outside the privileged few. Indian ingenuity lays the foundation for a more equitable society. Section 2. The spice routes respun global trade on India's terms. The scent of cardamom, cinnamon, and cloves once lured European powers to India's shores. India now dictates the terms, leveraging its position at the heart of the Indian Ocean trade network. The port cities of Surat, Calicut, and Masulipatam buzz with activity. Indian merchants regain dominance in the spice trade. They establish trading posts in Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and East Africa, operating as independent players in the global marketplace. This economic clout translates into political influence. Indian rulers engage with foreign powers as equals. India's voice resonates in international forums, extending beyond commerce and diplomacy. Indian scholars, scientists, and artists travel freely, collaborating with counterparts in the Islamic world, sharing expertise in Ayurveda with healers in China, fostering a spirit of mutual learning and respect. The Industrial Revolution, a period of unprecedented technological advancement in Europe, was fueled in part by resources extracted from colonized lands like India. In this alternate narrative, India experiences its own industrial revolution, but one that is driven by its own needs and aspirations, not by the demands of a colonial power. Without the British emphasis on keeping India as a supplier of raw materials, Indian entrepreneurs are free to invest in industrial development. The textile industry, once renowned for its handloom production, sees the introduction of mechanized looms, increasing efficiency and output. Ironworks spring up across the subcontinent, utilizing India's rich iron ore deposits to produce tools, machinery, and even railway tracks. This industrial growth is not a mere imitation of the West. Indian inventors, drawing on their own traditions of craftsmanship and innovation, adapt Western technologies to suit local needs and conditions. Imagine a steam engine, modified to run on locally sourced biofuels, powering a textile mill in Ahmedabad. Picture a water-powered spinning jenny inspired by traditional water wheels, revolutionizing cotton production in a village in Bengal. This blend of Western technology and Indian ingenuity creates a unique industrial landscape, one that is both modern and sustainable. The focus is not just on maximizing profits, but also on creating employment opportunities, improving living standards, and preserving the environment. This approach to industrialization, rooted in social responsibility and environmental consciousness, sets an example for other developing nations seeking to modernize without compromising their values. The absence of British colonialism allows India to redefine its own measures of wealth and progress. Material prosperity, while important, is not seen as the sole indicator of success. Instead, there is a greater emphasis on holistic development, encompassing economic growth, social justice, environmental sustainability, and spiritual well-being. Education, no longer geared solely towards producing clerks and administrators for the colonial regime, focuses on nurturing critical thinking, creativity, and a sense of social responsibility. Imagine schools that teach ancient Indian philosophy alongside modern science, encouraging students to become well-rounded individuals capable of contributing to society in meaningful ways. Healthcare, too, takes on a more holistic approach. Traditional systems of medicine like Ayurveda and Unani, suppressed during colonial rule, are revived and integrated with modern medical practices. Imagine hospitals where patients can choose between different systems of healing, receiving treatment that addresses both their physical and mental well-being. This reimagined vision of progress extends to the environment. Ancient Indian traditions of respecting nature and living in harmony with the environment are revived and incorporated into development policies. Imagine cities designed with green spaces, water conservation measures, and sustainable transportation systems, creating a harmonious balance between urban development and environmental preservation. This alternative path, free from the shackles of colonialism, allows India to chart its own course towards a future where progress is measured not just by economic indicators, but by the well-being of its people, the health of its environment, and the vibrancy of its culture. It is a future where India draws upon the richness of its past to create a present and a future worthy of its glorious heritage. Imagine India in the 19th century experiencing a cultural reawakening. India's artistic soul flourishes, drawing strength from its ancient roots while embracing new forms of expression. Traditional art forms, from Bharatanatyam to Carnatic music, experience a resurgence. The absence of colonial influence allows for a more organic evolution of artistic expression. Painters blend traditional techniques with Western perspectives, creating a unique fusion. Writers explore Indian society with authenticity, not through Orientalism. Folk traditions find new life and appreciation. Village fairs captivate audiences with tales passed down through generations. Street theatre troupes entertain crowds with social commentaries. This flourishing of artistic expression contributes to a renewed sense of cultural pride and identity. Indians rediscover the beauty and depth of their own heritage. This cultural confidence shapes India's interactions with the world and its vision for the future. Section 2. Beyond the Raj, reclaiming narratives and identities. In an India untouched by British rule, self-definition takes on a different hue. Indians reclaim their history, telling their stories from their own perspectives. History books celebrate ancient Indian achievements as pioneers in their own right. This reclaiming extends to language, with linguistic diversity flourishing. Children learn multiple languages, each a vibrant thread in Indian identity. This linguistic plurality fosters a more inclusive society. Without English dominance, no single group enjoys a linguistic advantage. Respect for linguistic diversity strengthens national unity. The absence of colonial rule allows for a nuanced understanding of India's religious landscape. Different faiths coexist more harmoniously. Interfaith dialogues become genuine attempts to understand others. This spirit of tolerance and mutual respect sets an example for the world. Section 3. The Uncolonized Mind, Education, Language and Thought. In an India unscarred by colonialism, education transforms minds, nurturing critical thinking, creativity and inquiry. Ancient Indian texts are studied alongside Western discoveries, blending knowledge systems. Language diversity is respected, with children learning in their mother tongues. This approach fosters confident, independent thinkers, ready to tackle global challenges. Section 4. A World of Difference. India's soft power on the global stage. Step into a world where an uncolonized India strides confidently onto the global stage, not as a former colony seeking validation, but as a civilization comfortable in its own skin, ready to share its wisdom and engage in dialogue with the world. This India, free from the shadows of empire, wields a different kind of power, one rooted in its ancient traditions of diplomacy, non-violence and cultural exchange. Imagine India, drawing on its ancient tradition of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family, playing a leading role in international efforts to promote peace, disarmament and sustainable development. Indian diplomats, well versed in the art of negotiation and conflict resolution, mediate disputes, bridge divides and foster understanding between nations. India's cultural influence extends far beyond its borders. Imagine Bollywood films, free from the tropes of colonial mimicry, captivating global audiences with their vibrant storytelling and catchy musical numbers, showcasing the diversity and dynamism of Indian culture. Picture Indian yoga and meditation centers springing up in cities around the world, offering a path to inner peace and well-being, attracting seekers from all walks of life. This uncolonized India, with its rich cultural heritage, its commitment to non-violence, and its vision of a more just and equitable world, emerges as a beacon of hope in a world often marred by conflict and division. It offers a different model of global engagement, one based on mutual respect, dialogue and cooperation, reminding the world that true power lies not in domination but in shared humanity. The Crown and the Consensus Reimagining Indian Governance. Imagine an India where ancient traditions shape governance, blending monarchy and consensus. Local councils rooted in participatory democracy empower communities. A hybrid system inspired by the past meets modern needs. A constitution enshrining social justice and equality. The tiger's stripes, federalism and unity in diversity. India, a land of immense diversity, is a tapestry of languages, religions and cultures. Imagine an India where unity and diversity finds expression in a robust federal system. States with significant powers over their own affairs, including taxation, education and cultural policy. This decentralized system would allow each region to flourish while remaining bound by a shared national identity, embracing linguistic diversity, recognizing multiple languages as official at the national level. Challenges would be addressed through dialogue, negotiation, and a shared commitment to unity. A balance as essential to India's survival as the stripes of a tiger. Dharma in the global square. India's uncolonized foreign policy. step onto the world stage of the early 20th century. An uncolonized India, free from the baggage of empire, charts its own course in international relations. Drawing upon ancient traditions of diplomacy and dialogue, India embodies the spirit of Dharma. Imagine an India that embodies the spirit of Dharma, righteous conduct, in its foreign policy. Unburdened by colonialism, India emerges as a leading voice for peace and disarmament. Imagine Mahatma Gandhi, his message of non-violence amplified on the world stage. This commitment to peace, however, would not have translated into pacifism. India, aware of the realities of power, maintains a strong military for self-defense and upholding a rules-based order. Imagine an Indian military force trained in peacekeeping, disaster relief, and humanitarian assistance. India's foreign policy, characterized by pragmatism, principle, and dialogue. Imagine India playing a leading role in the formation of international organizations like the United Nations. Section 4. Beyond Non-Alignment, Navigating a Multipolar World. As the world plunges into the Cold War, an uncolonized India faces a unique set of challenges and opportunities. The bipolar world order, with the United States and the Soviet Union vying for global dominance, presents a dilemma for a nation that seeks to chart its own independent course. Imagine an India that, while refusing to be drawn into the ideological battles of the superpowers, skillfully navigates the complexities of this multipolar world. The non-aligned movement, which emerged in the 1950s, might have found a more robust and influential champion in an uncolonized India. Imagine India, along with other newly independent nations, serving as a bridge between the two blocs, advocating for peace, disarmament, and a more just international economic order. This does not mean that India would have remained neutral on all issues. On matters of principle, such as decolonization, racial equality, and economic justice, India would have taken a firm stand, even if it meant challenging the interests of the superpowers. Imagine India, drawing on its own experience of colonial exploitation, lending its voice and support to liberation movements in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. This independent foreign policy, while challenging at times, would have earned India the respect of the international community. Imagine India not as a client state of any superpower, but as a respected voice on the world stage, its opinions sought after, its contributions valued. This would be an India that confidently asserts its place in the world, shaping its own destiny and contributing to a more just and equitable global order. Section 1. The Untapped Genius, Science and Technology Unchained. In an India unburdened by colonial rule, ancient knowledge systems in astronomy, mathematics, and medicine flourish alongside modern science. Imagine Ayurveda combined with modern research, leading to breakthroughs in chronic disease treatment. Picture Vedic mathematics applied to AI and cryptography, driving innovation. This fusion of tradition and modernity creates a hub of global scientific collaboration. Section 2. Beyond the Binary, Computing with a Quantum Leap. The world watches as an uncolonized India takes a quantum leap in computing. Drawing from ancient traditions, India develops groundbreaking computing technologies. Binary code meets Indian logic and Shunya, revolutionizing computing. Bangalore becomes a global center for quantum computing and AI. Indian startups lead in healthcare, education, and environmental tech. Rural areas gain high-speed internet, bridging the digital divide. Telemedicine transforms healthcare in remote areas. Technology drives social inclusion and empowerment. India leverages tech to tackle poverty, inequality, and climate change. As the world grapples with environmental degradation, an uncolonized India offers a different path, rooted in ancient traditions of harmony with nature. Imagine an India where ahimsa extends to the natural world, retaining traditional knowledge systems of agriculture, water conservation, and forestry. This respect for nature extends to urban planning and architecture, creating sustainable and aesthetically pleasing buildings. An uncolonized India becomes a global leader in the fight against climate change through a fundamental shift in values and practices. True progress lies not in conquering nature, but in coexisting with it, drawing upon ancient wisdom for a sustainable future. Look up at the night sky. Imagine an India where ancient astronomical traditions inspire a new generation of scientists. Unburdened by colonialism, India's space program prioritizes research to address the needs of its people. Picture Indian satellites monitoring weather, aiding farmers, and saving lives. India collaborates globally, promoting peaceful uses of outer space. The cosmos is a shared inheritance, a canvas for humanity's dreams. Our journey through an uncolonized India draws to a close. The echoes of this imagined past resonate deeply with the present. India never lost its spirit. The resilience of its people and cultural heritage remained constant. This spirit fueled India's resurgence on the world stage. Imagine today's India bearing this legacy, confident in its identity, embracing global challenges. The echoes of ancient trade routes resonate in its modern economy. Innovation fuels technological advancements. The uncolonized spirit shapes India's present and future. Visible in its democracy and cultural influence, Bollywood captivates, yoga spreads ancient wisdom, a testament to India's ability to adapt and innovate, a spirit that inspires and reminds the world of resilience. As we step back from the looking glass of this alternate history, we ponder the road not taken. Would an uncolonized India have been a utopia? Likely not. History's currents are rarely smooth sailing. Internal conflicts and social inequalities would have left their mark. Yet without British rule, these challenges would have played out differently. India would have faced its own internal demons on its own terms. Perhaps the caste system might have evolved differently, giving way to a more egalitarian social order. Perhaps industrialization would have blossomed into a more equitable economic model. Perhaps the political landscape would have fostered a more inclusive democracy. These are glimpses into an alternate destiny. The road not taken leads us back to the present, to the India that has emerged from history. While the past shapes us, it does not define us. The uncolonized spirit continues to burn bright, guiding India towards its rightful place on the world stage. The India of today, a nation of over 1 billion dreams, stands at a crossroads of history. The shadows of colonialism have receded, but their legacy lingers, a constant reminder of the challenges overcome and the work that lies ahead. Yet, there is a palpable sense of optimism, a belief that India, unbound by the shackles of its past, is poised to embrace its destiny as a global leader. The journey ahead is not without its obstacles. Poverty, inequality, environmental degradation, and the spectre of religious intolerance continue to cast a shadow on India's progress. But the uncolonized spirit, a legacy of resilience, innovation, and a deep-rooted belief in the power of human potential, shines brighter than ever. Imagine an India where education empowers every child, regardless of caste, creed, or gender, to reach their full potential. Picture a nation where innovation and technology are harnessed not just for economic growth, but for social inclusion, environmental sustainability, and the betterment of humanity. Envision an India that leads not through military might, but through the power of its ideas, its values, and its unwavering commitment to a more just and equitable world order. This is the promise of an uncolonized future, a future where India's ancient wisdom and modern aspirations converge to create a tapestry of possibilities, woven anew. It is a future where India, drawing strength from its past and embracing the challenges of the present, finally steps into the fullness of its being, a beacon of hope and inspiration for a world in need of new narratives, new dreams, and a renewed sense of shared humanity.